All right, this video is finding the slope or the gradient of a curve when x is given. So here's an example. Find the gradient or the slope for this function when x is -1. So step one, we want to differentiate the function. How do we differentiate the function? We use the power rule. So here is our function, y equals 1 over x squared. Before we use the power rule, we have to get rid of that fraction. So we're going to bring that x squared up. So we're going to change that to a negative power. So 1x to the -2 power. Now we're ready to use our power rule. So we say dy dx equals, and now we're going to bring that power down in front. So 1 times -2x, and now we're going to subtract 1 from the exponent. So this equals 1 times -2 is -2, x, and then -2 times -1 is -3. If you wanted to change it back to a fraction, you could. That would be -2 over x, and now that's a +3. All right, step 2. Substitute the x value into the derivative function. So here is your x value, -1. You're going to substitute it into the derivative function, either in that function or as such. It doesn't matter which one. So you're going to substitute the x value into the derivative function. What you're going to get is the gradient or the slope of the tangent line at x equals -1. So here we go. So I'm just going to write the derivative function, f dash x equals -2 over x cubed. Now we're ready to substitute the x value in. Remember that x value was -1. So f dash of -1, we're going to substitute -1 in for x. And then simplify it. So the numerator will stay as -2. The denominator is -1 times -1 times -1, which is -1. Divide those. -2 divided by -1 is 2. What did we just find? We found the gradient or the slope. IB uses the word gradient. The gradient or the slope of the tangent line at x equals -1 is 2. All right. Step 3, finding when x is given. This will help you get a point where the curve and the tangent line touch. When you're given the x coordinate and asked to find the y coordinate, you can do the following. A, substitute the x value into the original equation to find your y value, or use your graphing calculator. So what are we asking you to find? Finding y when x is given. What you're doing is you're finding the point where the curve and the tangent line touch. So when you're given the x coordinate, you're asked to find the y coordinate. So going back to the previous slide, here is our original equation for that curve. And we want to find out, where does this tangent line touch when the slope is 2? We're going to essentially take our x value, -1, and substitute it into the original function. So I'm going to write the original function as a function f of x equals 1 over x squared. And we're going to let x equal -1, and what we're going to find is, what is the y value? So f of -1. 1 divided by -1 squared. Simplify it. 1 over -1 times -1 is 1. Simplify 1 divided by 1 is 1. So where these equation for your tangent line and your curve touch is at this point. The point where the tangent line and curve touch is at that point, -1, 1. The other way is to use your graphing calculator. And you would graph the original function, press the second and trace, and you'd scroll down to your value and enter. And what you'll do is you'll type in your x value, in this case -1, and what you get out is your y value, which would be 1. So if we look here, here's the equation graphed out. The blue is your curve. This is your curve in the blue. And then you have your tangent line with a slope of 2 in the purple. And where they touch is at that green dot, -1, 1. That's what you're finding. Or you can use your graphing calculator, graph out your function, type in -1 for x, and output will be that order pair 1. And I'll show you that on another video.